Hello and welcome to the Goddess Perspective podcast. This is the podcast where we're talking about spirituality, New Age controversy. We're diving into the shadow realms and discussing all things metaphysical and how you can anchor your metaphysical knowledge into the physical. We're talking reality creation, legacy building, and harnessing your internal power. I'm your host, Magical Mads, and welcome to this month's episode. Hello, beautiful, wonderful, mystical, magical souls, marvelous souls. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you found your way to this conversation. It's going to be a really good one today. It's actually 11/11 today, so shout out to that. And if you're anything like me, you've been feeling this energy momentum building behind the scenes lately. Maybe you woke up and felt like today something was different, something has shifted. And maybe you don't feel that way, but maybe you've been seeing 11/11 everywhere for weeks. Like the universe has been whispering, pay attention, something's coming. Are you on the lookout? Are you actually open to receiving? And here we are. We're having this conversation here today that is going to be filled with so much juiciness and abundance. Today feels like the perfect time to actually have this conversation about master numbers, specifically 11/11, but also the other numbers as well. This portal that so many of us feel so called to, that stops us in our tracks when we see it on the clock, there is something to that. There is something about that. So we're going to actually explore that today by exploring what numerology actually is, why 11/11 is considered such a powerful energetic gateway, and how you can start reading the numbers showing up in your own life as messages, as guidance, as cosmic breadcrumbs, leading you exactly where you need to go. So grab your tea, get cozy. Let's talk about why today, 11/11, is basically the New Year's for the spiritually attuned, or those who move with the seasons and the cycles. But first, before we get into that, let's talk about what numerology actually is. At its core, numerology is the mystical study of numbers and their energetic significance. It's an ancient practice. We're talking about Pythagoras in ancient Greece, but also Hebrew Kabbalah, but also some Chinese traditions and Egyptian mystery schools. And so these numbers, they're the makeup of the universe, and they've always been more than just math, right? They're symbols, they're archetypes, they're frequencies. Everything in the universe vibrates at a certain frequency, right? Sound, light, even our thoughts and our emotions. Numbers are no different than that. Each number from 1 through 9 carries its own unique vibration and its own energetic signature. When you understand what these vibrations mean, you can start to decode the patterns that are showing up in your own life. Think about it. Your birth date reduces to a number. Your name converts to numbers. The address you live at, the day you met your partner, the date you started your business. We do birth charts for these things, right? Numbers are woven into the fabric of your existence, and they're not random. They're telling a story. Numerology is what helps us to read that story. It's like learning a new language, the language of energy, of synchronicity, of divine timing, of the feminine. So let's start with the foundation. In numerology, we work primarily with numbers 1 through 9. Each one has its own personality, if you will. 1 is going to be your initiator. This is the energy of independence, leadership, new beginnings, the Fool kind of energy. Number 2 is the diplomat. It's partnership, it's balance, it's sensitivity. 2 of Cups. 3 is the creative, expression, joy, communication, right? 4, this is the builder, the structure, the stability, the hard work. It's also the unseen forces that are providing structure and support. 5 is the freedom seeker, It's all about change, adventure, expansion, action. Number 6 is the nurturer. When I think of number 6, I always think of spiders. Even though they have 8 legs, I always think 6 is spider because they're so their energy is very harmonious, family oriented, responsibility. That's what I think about Charlotte's Web, I guess. Anyway, number 7 is going to be your mystical energy, spirituality, introspection, wisdom. That's that Sophia energy. Number 8 is the powerhouse, abundance, authority, manifestation. And that doesn't always look like action or effort. 9 is the humanitarian. It's all about completion, compassion, universal love. Most of the time, when you're working with numerology, you reduce numbers down to a single digit. So if you were born on the 23rd, you'd add 2 and 3 and you'd get 5. And so that would be your core number. That's simple enough, right? But here's where it gets interesting. There are certain numbers that are so powerful, that are so energetically potent, that we don't reduce them. We let them stand alone in the amplification of that really powerful energy. And these are called master numbers. And today, 1111, we're sitting right at the heart of one. Now, there is a bit of controversy around if 1111 is actually on 1111 because what are calendars, what is time, etc. But because we live in this kind of like societal framework, we can actually utilize the structures of that framework to create magic, to create abundance, to create this perspective that we're talking about and sharing here today. And so because of that, whatever you give power to is true for you. It's like celebrating a holiday also. You don't necessarily celebrate just that one day. It's kind of like a surrounding day. It's like a whole season, right? So it's about harnessing the energy of the seasons really at its core when we're talking about working with certain dates as master numbers. Now you can work with master numbers outside of the dates, but it is important when we're talking about working with dates that are based on a Gregorian, patriarchal, somewhat controversial calendar, that we are aware that it's less about the day and more about the energy that we're cultivating and the intention behind that. And again, focusing on it more as seasons rather than just celebrating one specific day. It's like the energy of a season. I digress. Let's talk about how master numbers are amplified frequencies. So the 3 major master numbers that most people will recognize as master numbers are 11, 22, and 33. Some numerologists might include 44 and beyond, but the main 3 ones that you're going to hear are 11, 22, and 33. And there's very good spiritual significance for that. Think of master numbers like spiritual honors students. They carry a higher vibration, a more intense energy, and often greater responsibility. They're double digits, 11, 22, 33, which means the energy of the single digit, 1, 2, 3, is amplified, intensified, turned up to 11, literally. When we're talking about triple digits, we'll go into that in a little bit, but when we're talking about triple digits, the concept is kind of the same. It just amplifies the energy. So number 11 is the number of intuition, spiritual awakening, illumination. It's equated to being like the psychic or maybe the messenger. And when you're connected to 11 energy, you're a bridge between the spiritual and the physical realms. You're highly sensitive. You are deeply intuitive. You maybe even be a little bit prophetic, have certain theories that you believe in or certain worldviews that you feel are prophetic of the future. You often see things that others don't or are unwilling to see, and you feel energies before they arrive. So you're very in touch with your clear gifts. Number 22 is the master builder. It takes the visionary energy of 11 and grounds it into physical reality. This is the number of manifesting big dreams, creating lasting structures, building empires with purpose. It's practical magic. I have 22 tattooed on my ankle. 22 is a very powerful number. It's like the building blocks. It's masculine in some ways. Number 33 is the master teacher. It's all about compassion, healing, and service to humanity. Think of spiritual leaders, healers, those who dedicate their lives to uplifting others. It's the Christ consciousness number and the energy of unconditional love in action. And Christ actually was said to have died at age 33. And this is interesting because we also have 33 rows of vertebrae in our spinal column. And so it's essentially his life was an ascension until he died once he reached Christ consciousness, once he fulfilled his mission, once he fulfilled his prophecy. So I love that correlation with the spinal column because I think that's so powerful. Now, if you have a master number in your numerology chart, maybe you were born on the 11th or the 22nd, or maybe your life path reduces to 11 or 22, you are definitely here to do something significant. You signed up for the advanced course in this lifetime. And it's not always going to be easy. It's not always easy. Master number energy can feel overwhelming. It can feel intense, like you're carrying more than you should, but you're also capable of doing extraordinary things because you've built your capacity to carry that much. And so this is where inviting in support and being in community can be really helpful in coming into embodiment of that. That's what we're all here for. 1111. Raise your hand if you see this number sequence regularly. Maybe it's on the clock, on receipts, license plates, everywhere. Once you see it, you just can't stop noticing it. Let me know if that's you. Here's what I believe. 1111 is a wake-up call from the universe. It's a tap on the shoulder, a cosmic, hey, you, yes, you right there, pay attention. Hey, I'm talking to you. And so when you see 1111, you're being asked to become aware of your thoughts in that moment, aware of your assumptions and beliefs, because you're a manifestation portal. When you're aware of what you're feeling, you can access the information that's there. You can become aware that you're not alone, that you're being guided, that something bigger is orchestrating the synchronicities in your life. 1111 is also called a portal or a gateway number. It represents a doorway between dimensions, meaning the physical and the spiritual, between who you've been and who you're becoming. And when you see it, you're standing at a threshold. The question becomes, are you going to step through that threshold? On a day like today, 11/11, that portal, that threshold is wide open. But here's what I want you to understand. Every moment is actually a portal. Every single breath that you take is an opportunity for transformation, for choice, for creation. Every present moment is the point of power where you can shift an entire reality. Well, if that's the truth, why does 11/11 feel different? Why does it feel more potent? I'll tell you exactly why. Because of collective focus, because of amplification, because when thousands, maybe millions of people around the world are all tuning to the same frequency, focusing on the same energetic gateway, something remarkable happens. We create a vortex through our focus together. We essentially create a reality together. We create a world together. We give power to something. We back something collectively, and it fuels us. Think about it like this. If you're standing alone in a field, humming a note, it's beautiful. It has power. But if 100 people stand together in that field and hum the same note together, the vibration becomes exponentially stronger. The resonance creates something that couldn't exist with just one voice. That energy compounds. That's what's happening on days like 11/11 or the solstices or eclipses or any holiday or any date that captures the collective attention. We're all humming on the same note together. We're all living in the same reality. We're all focusing our intention, our awareness, our creative power in the same direction at the same time. And that collective focus creates an energetic vortex, a concentrated field of possibility that you can tap into and work with. It's not that these days are inherently more magical than any other day. It's that we're making them more magical through our collective participation. We're agreeing together that yes, today is special. And in that agreement, in that unified focus, we amplify available energy exponentially. This time of the year, the veil is thin because we all believe it's thin. The portal is open because we all walked up to it together and said, open. This is the power of collective consciousness. This is why rituals done in groups are so potent. If you're not part of a collective that does a ritual, I highly recommend joining one. This is why movements and revolutions and cultural shifts happen. Because enough people focus their energy in the same direction and create an unstoppable vortex. So yeah, every moment is a portal. You don't need to wait for 11:11 to set intentions or to manifest or do a ritual or change your life or walk through the threshold. You can do that on a random Tuesday at 3:47 p.m. and it will absolutely work. So long as you're backing that with your belief and your assumptions. But on days like today, you have the added benefit of millions of other conscious humans amplifying the same frequency. You're not just working with your own energy. You're tapping into a collective field of intentionality. And that is like tapping into the most juicy box of plasma. You're plugging into a grid that's already charged up and humming. So use it. Ride the wave. Let the collective vortex amplify your personal intentions. Don't get wrapped up in the collective. Allow the collective to fuel you and your personal intentions. And then remember that you can create your own portals, your own vortexes, anytime you choose to be fully present and intentional with your energy. Today just makes it a little easier. Today, the universe turned up the volume. The question is, what do you want to broadcast? What are you choosing to broadcast? So how can we actually work with this energy practically? How do you make the most out of this energetic portal? And it doesn't have to be right on the day again, right? It can be within a few days or even within the month. First of all, what we want to do is get clear on what we want to call in. 11 is the number of intuition and vision. And so this isn't the time for you to be logically planning anything. This is the time to tune into what your soul wants. What are your soul's desires? What does your higher self want? What would you create if you knew that you couldn't fail? What would you go after if you knew that failure was not an option? Write it down. Speak it out loud. Let yourself dream bigger than usual. The 11 energy supports your audacious visions, okay? This is the time to be Delulu. We are deep in the void. We are tapping into the feminine. That's what this season is all about. That's what Scorpio is all about, but she's so misunderstood and everybody just wants to put on masks and hide, but that's not what she wants. Anyway. The second thing that we want to do is pay attention to our thoughts. 1111 is a master manifestation moment, which means that your thoughts carry extra creative power right now. That doesn't mean that if you think a negative thought, it's going to come back and bite you. It just means be aware of what you're giving your energy, power, and focus to and what cycles you're allowing to continue. What you're focusing on expands. We know this. So if you catch yourself in that negative spiral, course correct. Choose a better feeling thought. You're literally programming your reality with every single thought that you're thinking every single day, and anything can change at any given moment. The third thing that we want to do is we want to invite in trust with our intuition. The 11 is whispering to us constantly. It's like the feminine in our ear, the gut feeling, the random ideas that won't leave you alone, the person who keeps coming to mind. Pay attention to the patterns that are circling around in your reality. Take note, follow the nudges. Today is not the day to ignore your inner knowing. And also, we did just start Mercury retrograde, and that doesn't mean anything negative. It just means that the communication might be a little bit less direct. It might be a little bit like you might be thinking about something, but not because you're supposed to go. Maybe, for example, maybe you're thinking about someone. That doesn't mean you're supposed to go and have a conversation with that person. Maybe you're meant to come to terms with your relationship with them and move on, right? Maybe there's still some energetic debris there, right? So the universe is inviting you to clear that up. So just be mindful of how your intuition might be guiding you that might not be as obvious. And then the fourth thing I invite you to do is to do something ritualistic, do something symbolic to you. Light a candle at a specific time, 11:11 or 9:09, I don't know, 9:15 maybe. Set an intention. Journal your dreams, pull oracle cards, create a vision board, right? Maybe go create a Pinterest board, make some content, talk about your life. The universe loves when we meet it halfway with our actions because it says on our part, I'm serious about this. I'm ready. Let's go. And so, what can you begin to do? You don't have to do anything elaborate. The energy is already here. The momentum is already built. You just have to say yes to it. Allow the actions to be birthed through you. I promised that we would talk about numbers a little bit more generally. So let's zoom out for a second and talk about how to read numbers in general, because 1111 isn't the only message that you're likely receiving. Numbers are probably showing up for you all the time, realistically, like repeating numbers, 222, 333, 444. These are all angel numbers, right? And each one carries guidance. So these aren't master numbers, these are angel numbers. Now, I'm going to give you some general meanings, but here's what's really important, what I want to invite you into. Your relationship with numbers is personal. It's like a relationship to an archetype. The universe speaks to you in your language, not a universal dictionary, not some universal dictionary. So yeah, I'm going to tell you that 111 typically represents new beginnings and alignment, that 222 is about balance and trust, that 333 is about creativity and divine support, 444 is about foundation and protection, 555 is about change or movement, 666 is refocusing on what matters, 777 is spiritual alignment, 888 is abundance, 999 is completion, 0 is restart, reset. But here's the thing, sometimes 4 might mean something completely different to you specifically, because maybe 4 was your grandmother's favorite number, and when you see it, it's her saying, hey. And maybe when you had a significant experience on April 4th in 2004, you realize that 44 carries that energy that you love, and so it carries that specific memory or message for you, and there's something unique there for you, and that's why tapping into your intuition is so vital and so important. This is why I also want to invite you into building your own relationships with numbers. Get curious with them, start a dialogue. I literally do this with everything, with my emotions, with numbers, with archetypes, anything. When you see a number sequence, instead of immediately Googling what does 555 mean, or spiritual meaning of 555, esoteric meaning of 555, pause first. Close your eyes. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what does this mean for me right now? What is my intuition telling me about this? Notice what you're just thinking about. Notice how you feel. Notice what immediately pops up in your mind. That first hit of your knowing, that's your intuition speaking. That's your personal numerology language being built in real time. And that's a connection that you develop over time. Maybe you want to keep a notes app on your phone where you track the numbers that you see and what's happening when you saw them, or something similar to that. Or when something really hits you and you see a number, jot it down. Over time, you'll start to notice the patterns, and you'll realize that every time you see 717, you're about to have a major breakthrough, or that 1212 shows up right before you meet somebody important. The universe is always having a conversation with you specifically. So learn your dialect, learn how it's speaking to you. One of my favorite ways to do this is something that I call the license plate game. So this is going to really help you strengthen your intuitive relationship with numbers, signs, synchronicities, the universe. I call it the license plate game. You may have heard of it before. I don't know. I don't know anybody else that talks about this, but this is something that I've done for a long time. And once you start playing, you literally won't be able to stop. Like, it's something that I do without even thinking now. Let's be real. The universe can speak to you through street signs, through billboards, through random text messages, song lyrics on the radio. Absolutely. Signs are everywhere if you are paying attention. But I specifically love using license plates as an intentional practice because they're constant. You see them every single day, multiple times a day. And by choosing to work with them intentionally, you're creating a consistent channel of communication with your intuition. You can also notice the moments when you're trying to control your intuition. It's like you're telling the universe, hey, I'm going to use this specific thing as our walkie talkie. Let's make license plates our dedicated line. And so the universe goes, bet, let's do that. And now you have your own closed line with the universe, with your own intuition. So here's how it works. Whenever you're driving, or honestly, like even as a passenger princess or walking down the street, you start paying attention to the license plate as if they're messages meant specifically for you. Because guess what? They are. So let's say that you're driving and you're having this internal dialogue about whether or not you should take that job offer or stay where you are. You're going back and forth, spiraling a bit, you're unsure, feeling a lot of contradiction. And then you look up and the car in front of you has a license plate that says go -4 -it, or has the numbers 111, or literally just says yes. That is not random. That is the universe using the props available in your reality to answer your question. It's you speaking to you. Sometimes it's super literal like that. The license plate will have like the actual words or the phrases that speak directly to what you're processing. Sometimes your brain will make meaning out of letter combinations, and this is often what I do. And it seems totally random. Like you'll see like KLM 8942, and somehow your intuition translates that into a message about keeping love moving. For me, I see that and I'm like, oh, that's an airline. That's a flight. I'm about to get on a flight. KLM is in Europe. Okay, I'm going on a flight in Europe, right? Because that's what it sounds like to you. That's what it sounds like to me in the moment. And, whatever your meaning is, like you could make meaning out of the 8, like abundance is coming. I know it sounds wild, but your brain is incredibly intelligent and your intuition knows how to decode symbols faster than your logical mind can keep up with. Why do you think that the Egyptians used hieroglyphics for so long? Sometimes it makes full words out of something that is otherwise completely illegible. Your intuition is a creative, fast, precise source that you can rely on to create meaning. And when you realize that you're trying to control the meaning that your intuition is creating, that's when you want to take a step back, soften into the game again, make life fun again. And doing that, going that back and forth dance is going to help you in life in so many other ways. Sometimes the license plates will show you where your energy is transmitting to. Like if you're in an anxious spiral and every plate you see has a chaotic number combination or aggressive words, that's your mirror. The universe is literally showing you, hey, look at your frequency right now. This is what you're broadcasting. And then you can course correct. You can take a breath, shift your thoughts, choose a better feeling, and watch the plates start to change in real time with you. And that's one of the coolest experiences ever. Other times, the plates might confirm or affirm exactly what you were just thinking. You'll have the realization of like, oh my God, I'm finally ready to leave this relationship. And immediately the car next to you will have buy or new start or 555, which means change, right? And it's like the universe is nodding along with you, confirming your knowing. So I invite you to play this game. It's super fun. Here's how you play. Start treating every single license plate as a potential message. I see them as like texts. When one catches your eye, you'll know because that's the one that's for you. You'll feel that like little energetic ping. That's the one that you want to read. You don't have to be looking at all of them. Your subconscious mind automatically filters out what isn't relevant. So you will see the ones that are meant for you. And then just notice what you were thinking about or what you were just feeling. Ask yourself, what is this showing me? What is the message here? And sometimes you'll immediately know. Sometimes you'll have to sit with it for a while or a minute. Sometimes your brain will do this magical thing where it takes the letters that make no sense and suddenly they form words or meanings that are so specific to your situation that it's just like, what the fuck? Is this even real? Or how did I think of that? Or maybe it gives you chills or something like that. You have a visceral reaction. And the reason that I love making this intentional, specifically like by choosing license plates in my practice, is because it trains your intuition in a really consistent way. It's not just waiting around for a sign, it's actively engaging with signs multiple times a day, strengthening that intuitive muscle every single time that you're in the car or that you see a car, which, if you're living in America, is very often. And the more that you play, the more fluent you become in this language, the more the universe knows that you're paying attention and the more clear the messages become. It's like having a standing appointment with divine guidance every single time that you get in the car. Driving is a magical experience. Driving is also ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication. So it aligns in all the facets. And honestly, it makes driving way more fun. Traffic becomes a spiritual practice. It's enjoyable. Every commute is a chance for divine guidance. Red lights become opportunities to receive clarity instead of annoyances. So try it this week, especially today on 11/11 when the veil is thin, or around this time when the veil is thin and the signs are amplified. Set the intention. I'm using license plates as my dedicated channel for guidance. Show me what I need to know. And then pay attention. See what gets shown to you. You might be amazed at how precise the personal messages become. They get crazy. I've had full-on conversations literally driving from one state to another, okay? It's insane the amount of momentum that you can move when you utilize this game. Whether it's license plates or repeating numbers on the clock, numbers in your dreams, or anywhere else, the invitation here is really the same. It's to build a relationship with this language, with symbols, with code, essentially. The universe is not speaking to you in riddles to confuse you or to make you feel dumb or whatever. It's speaking to you in symbols and synchronicities because that's the bandwidth that transcends the limitations of the logical mind. Numbers and signs slip past mental filters and land directly in your body, in your knowing. You have to meet it halfway. You have to start paying attention. You have to trust that the first hit of intuition is guiding you and not misguiding you. And you can't allow yourself to fall into the trap of second guessing yourself into oblivion. You have to be willing to look a little bit crazy. Like, yeah, I am absolutely finding personal meaning in this random license plate. And no, I don't care if that sounds unhinged or like I'm going through an episode, like so many people on TikTok love to say in my comments. Anyway, but here's the truth. The people who are tuned in, who are living in alignment, who are co-creating with the universe instead of just letting life happen to them, they all look a little bit crazy to everybody else. They're talking to numbers. They're following synchronicities. They're trusting their burning desires. They're formulating their assumptions. They're making decisions based on feelings and signs rather than spreadsheets. And they're also the ones who are living the most magical, miraculous, absolutely unexplainable lives. Okay? So start the conversation. Ask the numbers what they mean. Ask your intuition to speak louder. Ask the universe to show you signs you can't miss, and then actually look for them. And actually getting your intuition to be louder requires you communicating with it. It's like a relationship. Isn't that funny? We dive deeper into talking about how to actually create a relationship with your intuition inside of It Is Done. The people who join yearly option will get an all access pass to all of the courses, which includes It Is Done. This is how you move from consuming spiritual content and working on being spiritual to actually living spirituality. This is how you activate your intuition from a concept into a reliable guidance system. Your intuition is a language. Numbers are a language. Become fluent, baby. Amazing. So here we are on this 11/11, sitting in one of the most potent energetic portals of the year. And I want to leave you with this. You didn't just randomly decide to listen to this episode today. You were meant to hear this message. The fact that you're here on this day, tuned into this frequency, that's not a coincidence. That's a synchronicity in action. That's the universe confirming that, yes, you're exactly where you need to be. 11/11 is reminding you that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, that you have access to guidance, to magic, to miracles, that your intuition is real and trustworthy, that the universe is literally rearranging license plates and clock times and random number sequences just to get messages through to you because it loves you and cares for you and enjoys playing with you that much, because it supports your joy and expansion that much. So trust yourself today. Trust the signs. Trust the journey. Start the conversation with your numbers, with the archetype of your choosing. Play the license plate game on your drive home. Notice what shows up and let yourself be amazed at how personal and precise this guidance can be. I'm all about giving the power back to the people to tap into their own inner power. You're being called forward into a bigger, brighter, more aligned version of your life. The portal is open. All you have to do is walk through. Thank you so much for being here with me today on this special day. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you see 11/11 today, and I have a feeling that you will, smile, take a breath, and know that you're loved, supported, and right on time. Until next time, beautiful souls, stay magic. Thank you so much for joining us on this month's episode. We look forward to connecting with you deeper. Please drop a comment, leave us a review, leave some feedback. Let us know how you received this episode. And as always, our DMs are open. The website is live, and we welcome you into our world as you come alive. Oh, and bestie, make sure you check out the description of this podcast because there's some special links there just for you. Okay, I love you. Bye.